What's going on, YouTube? Legend here once again, this time again with some more Honkai Star Rail. And guys, listen, the devs, they listened, all right? The devs, they listened, and they listened good. All right, I skimmed through this a little bit, and I'm impressed at the transparency that they're giving us when it comes to this right here, because the thing is, Honkai Star Rail is a moneymaker. They're on top, right? They're probably, I don't know how much money they're making versus Genshin, but they're probably making upwards of that amount, much more than the other gacha games, right? And when companies are like that, they're in a position where they can rest on their laurels and they can start to teeter off, right? And this the developer radio right here shows me that they don't plan on resting on their laurels, that they actually do care, and they are actually going to optimize things and try and better themselves, and not just let ZZZ and Wuwa take over all the hype, right? So you love to see it. Now, before we start reading this here, I just want to say, when it comes to the story, right? Because basically what they're talking about here is the story and the people's feedback on that story. Granted, a lot of the criticism I do agree with. And even though I do have a bias, because Star Rail, out of all the main gacha games, is my favorite one. So I do have a bias, and I did like the story. I didn't do a reaction to it because listen guys, I'm not recording all that and reacting to it. Like, you know how much work it takes to be able to record the entire story, edit it down and all that stuff, especially when they're doing 10-hour story. No, I'm sorry, I can't do it. But I enjoy the story quite a bit. The exposition wasn't too much for me. The black screens don't really bother me like that. It's whatever, but I do think a lot of the criticism was fair. Even despite me thinking that, the story was good, I enjoyed it, I like the exposition, I like the world building, I like the setup. I feel that, this is our setup patch, so it's not going to be balls to wall action, going crazy, all kinds of stuff going on. It's set up. They're building up the world. They're introducing us. So that's just how it is, Like, for those of you who might, watch long-running, manga like One Piece or something like that, when they enter some new area or something like that, or the beginning of a new arc, there's setup first, and things are a little slow, and then stuff starts at the wall as you go. So I was given a grace for that, right? But this response here shows you the importance of, even if you like something, even if you think that it did a good enough job, it shows why you shouldn't try to silence the people that are asking for more, right? Because even though I was satisfied with what I was given, because other people spoke up and asked for improvement, they are giving improvement. So now, me, who was already pleased, is going to get an even better experience now. So that's something I want to get out there. But let's go over this developer radio step by step. For 3.0 Amphoreus Special Edition developer radio, following the launch of version 3.0, the Express crew has received an array of feedback from Trailblazers during the exploration of the new world. Some of this feedback concerns issues with Trailblazers' experience with the story and exploration. We will be making adjustments and observations to address these issues with the aim of bringing Trailblazers a smoother journey. So the story issue. We have received feedback from the Trailblazers that the Amphoreus main story contains excessive lore exposition and too much reading, resulting in fatigue and tedium, right? For those of you guys who tried to take this in one go, I can imagine that this would tear you up, all right? So Amphoreus has a complex design, and during development, we wanted to ensure that the information supporting it was as complete as possible. However, the result has presently failed to meet Trailblazers' expectations. It is what it is. In response to this feedback, we'll be addressing the root of the issue by reducing design-related explanations in the story. In upcoming versions, Trailblazers will have the option of skipping this content so that they may experience the main story in a more relaxed manner. Now, based on the example they show, I thought they were saying they're adding a skip button, but on the visual aid that they gave, it that's not what they're doing. They're not giving you a skip button. They're just more so, but it's almost as good as one, but it depends on how much they implement it. But when there's about to be a long-winded explanation about something, they're going to give you the option to say, hey, no, let's just go on to the next topic instead of like explaining this, and that. Which, it's hard to say how good that is until you see it implemented. Because now they're just saying, oh, we're just going to add a skip button. So we'll see. So it's more, it seems like they're doing is they're adding somewhat of a pseudo skip button where you can skip certain dialogue, but you can't skip it all. Which has the potential to be good. So they just gave 2 examples here, basically, where before, like, you had to pick all the dialogue options, or during this puzzle, you had to try the different things for the different scenarios. You know, gave a little bit of comic relief and yada yada. But they're like, nah, you can skip that idea and you can skip that and just progress on. Which, in this scenario right here, the example they're showing, that saves you a good, 5-7 minutes of dialogue and such. And I can't remember how much time this took up, but it's gonna save you a couple minutes here, a couple minutes there. Now this right here is they grabbed the bull by its horns right here, because it said at the same time we will also look to arrange and present missions in a more reasonable manner and reduce tedious narrative experiences like black screen with white text. Guys, people have been clowning on HSR for their black screen and white text. They've been making fun of them. They've been memeing it. They've been doing all kinds of stuff. And as I said, for me personally, it doesn't bother me that much. But at the same time, I would appreciate is if they showed what they were talking about. Do little cut scenes. Try and or more so or just try and show as much as you can. It doesn't have to be full out cut scenes if you can't fit all those in there. But try and show as much as you can, whether using artwork or so on and so forth. ZZZ likes to have their comics and stuff like that. Wu has been doing a lot of good artwork and all kinds of stuff and trying to show what they're talking about. So minimizing those black screens would be great, They're addressing it directly, meaning that they know what the problem is, right? They're saying, hey, we know this is the problem, so we're going to address it. You love to see it. You will love to see it. So still, it's up in the air, seeing how they do deal with it. We can't give them all the flowers yet. We got to see what they do. But the fact that they are addressing it and acknowledging it is step 1 complete, So there we go. Side on the mission puzzle solving issue. I'm gonna be real with you guys. I didn't care. I didn't have an issue with the puzzles. Maybe because I'm a super genius, and what can I say, But I didn't have a problem with the puzzles. They weren't an issue for me. I kind of liked that it was more interactive instead of me just watching a story. There were a lot of puzzles. I'll give you that. That's preference right there. The Amphoreus main story contains some unique stage gameplay, and our aim was for trailblazers to experience the rules and design of the new world both through the content of the story and through this gameplay. However, in practice, we should have achieved a better balance between puzzle solving and story. Understandable right there. That's what a lot of people have been saying. With puzzles also containing too many steps. This too often resulted in puzzle solving interrupting the flow of the story and detracting from the experience. Yeah, you know what? If you did struggle on some of the puzzles, actually, there was a couple puzzles that were pretty long. I think about it. I'd say like those rooms, like this room that they're showing down here with Agonias. What's his name again? Nias, right? That room. That's kind of like a lengthy puzzle a little bit, and it was kind of just like, all right, I'm getting towards the end of this part of the story, let's just get to moving. So there were some puzzles that were a little bit long, but it is what it is. So they're going to try and optimize it right here. So to tackle this issue, we'll optimize the main story puzzle solving design, provide simpler and more direct solutions for some puzzles. Now, I don't want them to make puzzles just easy now. I would prefer like the lengthy puzzles to be for after the story when we're exploring, right? Whereas during the story, have more introductory level puzzles to go through. So we can just be like, hey, now we know how to do this puzzle, on to the next, you know? I think that's the best way to do it. So taking version 3.0 example, in this room down here, Cash Room, Criminals, Soul Forging Zone, Trailblazers must complete the drawn out task of restoring 4 soul forging statues and piece together Nicadore's divinity. Now this is one of the long ones I was talking about. Following adjustments, Trailblazers will be able to choose to talk directly to Nias and complete the mission objective in a more Kremnonin fashion. I don't know what that means. Does that mean that we're going to fight something instead? So before reaching the soul forging zone, Trailblazers will complete a series of drawn out puzzles to proceed to the final battle. While adjustments in some of the puzzle solving rooms, Trailblazers will be able to choose to progress the story in a more Kremnoin fashion by talking to Nias and engaging in battle. Oh, okay. So it is battle. All right. So they're like, hey, you just do this fight, and instead of doing a puzzle, and then they were good to go. Yeah, more battle, better. I like it. I do like having battle integral to the story progression over puzzle solving. That's always a better. I do like my puzzles though. I do want both. But yeah, at the same time, we'll optimize the lengthy and complex map pathing for the main story exploration. The overly concentrated enemy placements in certain areas reduce to prevent enemies from frequent interrupting map exploration and puzzle solving. This aims to enhance Trailblazers' experience throughout the main story. Now, that is something that upset me, all right? And I don't know why I didn't click in my brain to just use my Acheron, but I was getting tired of all these enemies because I was running around with her and I was like, oh my gosh, there's just so many enemies, so many fights, so many tedious fights. It's not like they're hard. I just do a couple skills and they're dead, but it was just oh my gosh. So this is fantastic, right? This is fantastic. I don't need all these enemies all over the place. But at the same time, as long as there's ways where I can still get the materials from enemies so I can level up characters. But otherwise, that is some good news. I like to hear it. So yeah, to reduce any negative experience caused by the above issues and make sure overall quality meets everyone's expectations, we're continuing to polish and fine-tune upcoming versions of the game. Regarding existing content for 3.0, we'll proceed with the aforementioned adjustments. We anticipate these adjustments will take effect from version 3.2. So basically, they're like, all right, here are the quick fixes, right? What we just saw, what we just went through, those are the quick fixes that they're doing. But in 3.2, they're going to try and fix the system completely. So that sounds good to me. Amphoreus is a year-long journey, and these story and puzzle solving optimizations are just the beginning. Love to hear that. The Express crew will continue to optimize content. We're excited to bring everyone bigger and better journey experiences. To name some examples, we will be adding richer combat gameplay. Ooh, I like to hear that. Okay. And challenge goals to the game. In addition, issues close to Trailblazers' hearts, including difficulty deploying older characters on the battlefield and the strengthening of these older characters are already on the schedule. Stay tuned for future content updates. Will I be able to use my Jing Liu again? Will I be able to use my Sealy again? What about Dot? Will I be able to use... Well, I mean, Dot... I've talked about Dot in a previous, tier list video right there, but Dot could use some buffs, and I'd love to see that too. So if they got something for that, I'd love to hear it. I'd love to see it. So, but they're basically telling us right there and then say, hey guys, we are going to buff old characters, right? Old characters are gonna, blow the dust off them, and yeah, we're gonna be able to use them again. So that is fantastic news that they just slipped in there at the end right there. But that is fantastic news right there. And this is a good look. This is a good look for Star Rail to show that they're still listening to the community, just as much as, you know, as Kokoro is for Wu-Wow, a newer game, and how they are listening in ZZZ with their newer game. So it's fantastic news, you know. Catch up, Genshin, please. So what can I say but devs listen. They listened, and I'm here for it. And it makes me happy that I already liked the state that 3.0 was in. So the simple fact that we're getting more means that when 3.2 comes around, I'm going to be flabbergasted. I'm going to have a grand time. Maybe I'll have more cutscenes. We're going to have better combat. We're going to, you know, just not have as much distractions with the story. Maybe the story won't take 10 hours and such. We're in it to win it, guys. We're in it to win it. But what do you guys think of all this right here? All this, everything that they went over. Was the current state of 3.0 something that frustrated you? Because I know it's frustrated a lot of people. So feel free to let me know in the comments down below. And are you happy to hear about these changes? Do you think that there's any issues that they missed? Definitely comment that. But yeah, like the content, if you like the video, if you like the content I'm giving you, of course, subscribe to the channel to get more content like this. With Andy here, let you know.